welcome back to the Happy Place Diaries. I am Jerry, and in this episode, we're going to give you 5 things that they don't always teach you before you haul that RV away. So 5 things. Stay with us. Hey, welcome back. It's great to have everyone with us. Hey, if you'd be so kind, go ahead and share this video with a friend of yours. They might just learn something. After all, we are here to help you get the most out of your RV experience. Hey, in this episode, we're going to talk about 5 things that they don't always teach you at the RV dealer before you drive that puppy off the lot. 5 things that we had to learn, so we thought we'd share them with you. All right, let's jump right in. Okay, the first tip we're going to talk about is your TV. You ever get into camp and you turn on your TV and you get something like that? Or you get nothing but a blue screen? Well, what you need to do is make sure that if you are not on cable, there's a button right here. Let me move this cord. There's a button right here. You see that green light that just came on? You got to have that green light on when you're not using cable. And then you get a picture like that. So make sure that if you're not on cable, your green light is on. All right, tip number 2 is the gas for your stove and your cooktop. What you need to do is when you turn your gas on, you need to light one of your burners to bleed the lines and get your gas moving through. Real important, especially if you're using propane for your furnace, that you light your stovetop first. It'll get the gas moving in your system and you'll have no problems lighting your stove, lighting your cooktop, or your furnace. We were out one time and we didn't understand. We got in late. We hadn't really started anything up, but it was cold. We went to light our furnace and we weren't getting anything. It was kind of sputtering. The fan came on, but we weren't moving any heat. So we turned things off. I lit the cooktop, and all of a sudden we got heat. So you got to get that gas moving through your system. Same thing goes with your water. If you want hot water, go ahead and run the water into your heater and then go turn on your electric heat, the water heat switch, and I'll show you that. So in ours, we have a water pump and we've got an electric water heater or gas water heater. So what we want to do when we get into camp is we want to get the water running, put water in that tank, and then go ahead and use your electric water heater. You don't want to leave that running. Here's a bonus tip while we're at the panel. Make sure that your water pump switch is off if you've been using your fresh tank, or even if you haven't been, especially if you haven't been using your fresh tank. Make sure that that is off and it doesn't get bumped. Now, luckily, our panel's up here. There's nothing around it that could bump that panel. But what you don't want is, number 1, to burn up your pump if there's no water in your tank, or number 2, have that bump and start spilling water all over your trailer. You'll get into camp and you're going to have a swamp, so you don't want that. All right, on to the next tip. So speaking of that water and cascading all over your trailer, what you want to do is when you pack up, you want to open up all of your valves. Open up the kitchen sink, the bathroom sink, and the shower. Get those open. That's going to allow air to move through your water lines, keeps things from getting pretty nasty. And when you hook up to city water, it's going to allow you to bleed those lines, and you'll hear it starting to pop, 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 and then water will start floating through. So it's a good idea to have those ready, open, and make sure that if you have a faucet like ours, let's get down here. If you got a faucet that swings, make sure that it's pointing into the sink and not elsewhere. Now, when we travel, we keep the Keurig down in this sink, and so we keep the faucet into this sink right here. And that way, when we do get into camp and I hook up the water is going to bleed and pop and start flowing into that sink. It's a really good idea. Otherwise, you get water everywhere. Okay, tip number 4 is put a towel in your microwave when you're traveling, and I'll show you why. So when you're traveling, this plate and the little roller underneath it is going to bounce all over the place. So what we like to do is take the plate out, and you've got your roller. Put it down in the groove there. Throw a towel in the microwave, like that. Put the plate back in, and then throw the towel over it. And that's going to keep that from banging around and flopping all over the place. Quick, simple. You're going to use those towels later on anyway. And you won't forget, because as soon as you open up your microwave, you're going to see the towel in there. You just take that out. But it's going to save you a little heartache when you get into camp, because you need that rotisserie plate in there to make the microwave work properly. All right, and tip number 5 is to lock the doors before you travel. Make sure you lock the doors before you travel. When you travel, this box on wheels is going to shift and contort a little bit. That's why you'll notice that trailers give a little bit and things aren't necessarily as square as you want them to be. You need to lock the doors before you travel, because these doors are going to do the same thing. They're going to flex, and you might just see your door open up while you're driving down the road. Ask me how I know. So, lesson learned there was just make sure that you go ahead and flip that little switch, and now it's nice and locked, and it secures the deadbolt on the door. Well, okay, there you have it. There's 5 tips that they don't always teach you before you drive your trailer off the lot. Hey, don't forget to share the video with a friend if you like what you saw. Don't forget to check out some of our other videos. They're going to show up over here. And don't forget that we really appreciate you, and that a happy life starts in a happy place. And we found ours. Thanks for coming along our journey with us. We'll see you in the next one.